All right. So I have Alley Cat here with me. Now that we got all of the acronyms and stuff straightened out, she's going to be working Title Match Network's Ladies Night Out Midnight in Tampa show April 9th, 11:59 at the Egypt Shrine Center. Before that, you can catch her at Real Hot Girl Shit. It's part of the collective. It's the same day, that afternoon. We're going to be talking about both of those events, everything else you have going on that day. How are you doing?
I'm very good now. I'm doing well. It's my day off,
Take two.
right?
Yeah. So tell me about having your own event. Like we kind of talked about that just briefly before we started recording, but all of the insanity going into running your own event, and it's WrestleMania weekend. It's, a lot going into it. What are you feeling going into it?
This is my second time doing it. I talk to all the girls, I book all the matches. Like we have a graphics guy, etc. But when I did it, it was for Fight Forever, and that was a no fans show. Like that was just the donation thing. Now fans are involved, ticket sales are involved, etc. So now I feel very like now it's very stressful. I want my show to like do very well. I want to continue doing this, improve like women can run shows, women's wrestling is good and draws, etc. Like, so I'm excited to do my show and then go to another all women show later that night.
Now that presents an interesting dynamic. Does the lack of fans at Fight Forever and going into now present any new challenges or anything like you're finding out now at during the lead up that you maybe didn't think of the first time around?
It's always been like in the back of my mind. Like I right when like everything shut down a year ago and then it started to come back in June, it's just been weird from the get-go. Like I've been doing shows since June, and when you go from like wrestling in front of like hundreds of people to wrestling in front of like 100 people, it's very weird, and it's like you have to worry about money a lot more now. Like because everyone still needs to get paid. We still need to like pay for the venue, the ring, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's very weird budgeting in these times, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And uh, you know, everybody's been affected by the pandemic. It seemed like, you were catching on more in popularity. I know you had a pretty big week the year before in New York, New Jersey during WrestleMania 35, but what's the year been like for you as far as 2021 and trying to get back to where you were last year? Like, are you starting to see where it's almost there?
I'm having hope. You see everybody's like getting vaccinated and like things are starting to roll back out. So I'm hope I was supposed to go to the UK last year, and spend a month there. So that's what I'm looking towards. I'm looking towards going to the UK. I'm looking towards like, you know, getting these spots on other shows again and doing more traveling as more shows like open back up. Like, there was kind of like a sweep before and during the pandemic of a lot of talent. And so I was like, okay, it's my time to fill the role and like rise up. And then everything shut down. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to like rise up and be the top guy now.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Everybody's worried about contracts and roster spots, and it's like, yeah, that's part of it, but
Yeah.
you're finding people to rise up and take those spots and find ways to be creative. And I say it time and time again, if I'm going to look at anything besides the lack of spoilers, which I appreciate, it's that being at home and being in this new situation, it forces people to be creative, and it really puts you to the test and find out what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
And I want to note really quick, the Hot Girl Shit event. You can find ticket event details at rhgstampa.eventbrite.com. You can watch it at Fight on Fight, the app.
Buy it and watch it on Fight. There you can either just buy my show or you can buy like a
Yeah, they have
collective
a
package.
package.
And then same thing with the tickets. You can go and you can just buy a ticket at the Eventbrite, or you can buy a collective package if you're in town.
Absolutely. Plenty of ways to enjoy the show. One thing I did want to touch on briefly, it kind of just happened, was Faye Jackson just announced her retirement. The Gray Sweatpants Battle Royal is part of the event. That caught me by surprise, but I still either way wanted to promote, it's all for a good cause. Half of the proceeds are going to the talent and everybody involved with putting on the show. The other half's going towards Planned Parenthood. So if you can't be there in person, and you still just want to watch from home and give back to everybody that's participating, you can find more on Indiegogo. It's just search Gray Sweatpants Battle Royal. How has that been, just having that, not only, just trying to give back to talent, but doing it and having a good cause involved too, even though it's, it's quite obvious what you're going for with the theme.
So like, this is Faye's baby. So like, me and Faye are friends. I love her to death. Like I've known about her announcement this week, and it's been heartbreaking, but she's still going to be there. She's still coming and like going to do the battle royal and like lead it and stuff. Like, I've let her, that's her thing. I said, just put it on my show. I want you to have a place to do it. So this is your time. I don't want to know what's going on. I want to be surprised and enjoy it. But this is something she's been talking about for over a year now. She was supposed to do it last year. It got canceled. And even then, it was still supposed to be for like a good cause. It's supposed to donate to Planned Parenthood. So obviously I want to support that. I'm excited to see it and have fun and enjoy it. I'm excited to see, again, Faye be in charge of something and book something and show that like more women of color need to be in charge and can put on, not only entertain in the ring, but like write the behind the scenes stuff and make other people be entertaining too. So I'm excited I still get to see her and hang out with her. I'm very sad. She was injured in her last match, and like she's gonna be literally like in a cast this next week. So I told her, I said, make sure they put like a cup holder in it so that we can still like hang out and drink.
I'm gonna say they should cut off one of the sweatpants and just slide the Grace.
I
like the cup holder.
Jordan Grace said she got her a gift and she showed me what it was, and it's like this plastic thing to go around her arm so that we can like go swimming and go in the hot tub.
Oh God, I had so I broke my left arm when I was like 12 or 13, and it was like this yellow, like, remember like the AOL man, like the
yes.
guy? I looked like that when I went in the pool.
Shut up.
It was awful. That, like you just said, that's unfortunate that happened to her. It's going to be sad to not see her in the ring anymore, but it's a great thing to see that women people of color are getting more opportunities in the business, because that's really been a talking point, especially the past 5 or so years, where it's people want opportunities, but they weren't given them, or they weren't there, whatever the reason. But I've talked to a few people. One of them was Madison Rain not too long ago, and being phased out because of age is another reason. And it was like, okay, you're done in the ring, and once you hit 35, it's like, okay, you're on your way out. But now you're seeing that it's motivating to see that people aren't done in the wrestling business, quote unquote. Like you have people that can write, you have people that can produce. Like that, I think that's more reassuring than anything, because even if you don't want to wrestle anymore, you can still have a hand in the business and give back to it.
Like Madison, like doing commentary, like that was great. It's like there's a role, there's so many things, and especially like once you've been in the ring, now you take that knowledge, you bring it to like the backstage, and it helps even more.
We talked a little bit about the GCW side of things, but Ladies Night Out, Midnight in Tampa, we just mentioned Jordan. You're going to be facing her on the event.
Yes.
That's got to be an exciting one. I know you've faced her over the years here and there in different promotions, but what are your thoughts about getting a chance to, really have a bigger spotlight with her going into WrestleMania weekend.
The last time I think we wrestled was two years ago. I think because it was like for a while I was wrestling her a bunch and it was great. Like I learned a lot and I leveled up every time I wrestled her. So I'm excited to see her see me 2 years now later and like hopefully be proud of me.
Are you talking about singles or just in general? Because I remember when the last match was.
I think our last match was a singles at in like Chicago, I want to say.
Yeah, that was the singles, but you did the four-way where you got injured and she was
That's right.
she was in that the GoPro show because I was there.
God.
And I
Yeah,
remember
I don't
that.
even want to count that because I was in that match for like 2 seconds and then was like, well, I'm laying on the ground now.
Yeah.
This
That
sucks.
that was unfortunate. I know that's behind you, but that was the last match I remember. I mean, at this point, it's probably one of the last live events I've been at, which is weird to say, but just thinking about the people in that match, it was yourself, Jordan, Penelope Ford, and Nyla Rose. Like you were kind of like all of you on the cusp of breaking out, and now you're all, in the conversation as like top talent in women's wrestling. So that's really cool to see, like in such a short amount of time, like
Right.
2 years. You think not that short, but it kind of is, and it's cool to see you all excelling in your respective fields.
It was the week before AEW like
Mhm.
aired on TV. So I was just like, I want to be in the ring with both of them. This is great. And then so I need another chance. I need a redemption. I've wrestled Penelope and Jordan, but like I've never wrestled like Nyla. So I was excited and then that happened. I was like, damn.
Yeah, yeah, that was a wild week. I went to that show because I know Andrew's the promoter, and then Frank, like they do some of the camera stuff, so I know them. And then I went. It was Joey's the curtain
On
call,
Monday,
so I went there, and then I went to DC for AEW.
I was gonna go to curtain call. I remember that. And then I got hurt. So I was like, there's no point in me just sitting in a chair the whole time. Like I can't walk. I can hardly move. So I just like went back home.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I miss that, like the crazy element of wrestling. Now it's all planned and it has to be and safe, and it's like I miss that part where it's just like, oh, there's a show going on, I want to go to it.
exactly. That's like the one thing missing from this mania. Like I still haven't gotten to experience like a crazy mania yet. I went to Mania in New York. That was my first one, and I didn't have a lot of bookings, and that's when I lived in New York. So I just like went home every night and then would come back instead of like being in the thick of it and like everybody's got a hotel room and oh, you ran into so and so at the bar. Like I hear all these wild stories of past Mania weeks, and I'm like, give me one. Give me one.
uh it I hope it gets somewhere back to what it was, maybe not exactly, because I will say firsthand, going back from New York to New Jersey and the trains and all that part was not fun, but
Right.
the actual going to Hoboken, or was it Hoboken? Yeah, the White Eagle, right? I don't know.
Don't
Whatever.
ask. Listen,
It
you're
was
asking
it was
I'm
New
horrible.
Jersey across the river. I don't know.
Right.
But maybe in terms of what we can control, like, is there anything that you do want to see in wrestling this year, whether it's, for yourself personally or just the indies in general, just anything that you really hope like catches on or kind of gets you back on the right track and, onward and upward instead of waiting to open back up?
I just want to see like large crowds again. Like this last GCW I did where like Nick Gage came back for like a split second, it felt normal. Like the crowd reaction I heard, if I close my eyes, I'm like, wow, it feels like I'm back. It feels like it's real again and there's people here. That's all. And I'm just I'm waiting for fans to come back so I can have busy weekends again. Like it was nice at first, like having time off and you're like, oh, my body feels good again. But there's just something about like waking up, doing a show in one state, driving 5 hours to another one, then flying to another one on Sunday, and then coming home, being like, I miss that. I want that back.
Yeah, I hope the vaccine is like the first part of it, and people keep being responsible, wear your masks, hands, wash your hands, like all that stuff. Hopefully this is the start. I don't know I don't think there's like another big weekend, but it was kind of nice seeing GCW kind of claim October. So who knows,
Right.
maybe that's another, tentpole event for the indies. But you just mentioned Nick Gage. I'm familiar with your work, but I was going through a list of opponents and it's very eclectic, if I can put it that way. So this is just some of them, but Schlack,
I didn't
Kikatar,
wrestle Schlack. He got injured, so that one didn't happen.
but you were going to.
Yes.
And you look at the contrast and it's like, Kikataro, Ethan Page, Nick Gage, Tennille Dashwood. We mentioned Jordan Grace. You've embraced the fun side of wrestling, like with Allie Cat, and it's figuratively and literally, but you also don't stick to one genre. Like you're okay with the hardcore stuff and the technical stuff. You work with Effie a lot, Bussy. Is there a style that you prefer, or maybe best represents who you are as a wrestler, if that's not too broad of a question?
Right. I like being versatile, and I like being able to like fill a bunch of spots. I don't know. I don't want to like call myself a comedy wrestler or a technical wrestler or a deathmatch wrestler. Like I feel like I just jump around so much that it's hard for me to feel like I'm in one spot. But part of me wants to be like, yes, I'm a technical wrestler, so people will like take me seriously. I feel like people see the whiskers and they're like, okay, and I'm like, sorry, I like to have fun, y'all. Like, I like to be cute. I don't want to just be like girl. Like, I don't want to just be girl wrestler, hot girl. I want to be, fun. I want you to pay attention to something other than that and realize that I can wrestle and I know how to apply a hold, whatever you want to say. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think I am? What kind of wrestler am I?
I'm gonna say versatile.
I'm a freaking, what are they called? Those little.
Jack of all trades, or
There we go. I listen. I half-ass. I don't whole-ass one thing. I half-ass a lot of things. All right.
uh I think it's interesting that you just mentioned, like, people are like, oh, they see the cat and the whiskers, and it's like, it's interesting seeing what people want to pick on. And if not, I'm sure there's playful stuff and mean stuff, but they shouldn't be doing the mean stuff. But it's like, okay, you believed the Undertaker had superpowers for 30 years and you went with it. Papa Shango made somebody choke and gag on black goo, but you have a problem with somebody painting their face like a cat. So it's like
Prince.
just have fun.
If I like, my thing is like, it's okay when people wear masks. Like everyone was like, oh, Prince Puma. Oh my God. Like there's all these people, if they put on like a mask, it's legit. But if I've just paint on whiskers, it's like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, okay, y'all, I see you.
Maybe that's what. Have you tried being a luchador yet?
I need to get my athleticism up a little bit. Someone did make me a mask, and it's really cool. And they made Effie a mask, and so we come out in them together. But it's not like, it doesn't. I have a weird head. I don't know. It doesn't fit me quite well. But if I did get a mask that like fit well, maybe I'll just start doing that and be like, "Are y'all happy? Are y'all happy now?" Like one side has like whiskers, and then one side says cat. It's so cute.
I hope you start using it sooner. On a serious note, I would like to see that, and just gauge the reaction of people and be like, oh, now what?
What are you gonna say now?
I'll close with this. It kind of started as a pandemic playlist, so to speak. Kind of another broad question, but if there's a match or matches that you're really proud of, or maybe you think best represents you as a wrestler, maybe they're you know as a preview going into your week next week, is there a match that you would recommend that people give a first watch, a repeat watch, and really just demonstrates who you want to be as a wrestler?
I think since I'm wrestling Jordan at Ladies Night Out, if you go back and you watch our last singles match, it was at like the Midwest mixtape at in Chicago.
Mhm.
I think it'd be cool to watch that and then see me and Jordan wrestle again 2 years later. Or like one of my most recent matches is the one I had with Willow at Fight Forever at my Real Hot Girl Shit. Like I'm very proud of that and I really like what I did in that. So even one of those matches I think is good.
You can check out Alley Cat, part of Ladies Night Out, Midnight in Tampa, Real Hot Girl Shit. You got a lot going on next week. Any other appearances that you are doing next week that you wanna plug
So
real
I
quick?
have those two on Friday, and then the next day I'm at Effie's big gay brunch.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get no sleep. Hopefully Jordan doesn't beat my ass at midnight too hard because then I have to wake up and wrestle at 11 a.m. for Effie, and then I'm done.
Yeah, but then you have a nice brunch to look forward
Now,
to.
yeah, I'm gonna roll out
That's
of the
it.
ring and grab a mimosa. Like
Okay.
done.
All right. Alley Cat, thanks very much for your time. Guys, check her out next week. Three events to look forward to next week. And have a good afternoon. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, y'all.